gonna be a little tight. Like it's a narrow sight. A little bit more driver's side. Perfect. Keep that a little bit more. Perfect. I'm gonna look at this other side here just to make sure. Oh, it's good. Yeah. Yep, come back more. Okay, I guess stop right there and see.
Yeah, I just want to see the lot right now.
Yeah. The issue is gonna be the steps again on a pavement like this.
What did we do before?
I mean, we had to get, we won't get far enough on that side to avoid the steps. I mean, let's see how much clearance is on the other side, I guess. So even if you got like closer over here, maybe. Let's see what happens when the steps go down.
So the thing is like over here, when the actual trailer drops here, it's gonna create less of a gap here. So when they come down, the door won't be able to shut because this will be shifted up like so.
Right.
So I don't really care for these steps all that much because of this. We've run into this a lot.
Well, a lot, we do.
Campgrounds always have like this
raised pavement.
Yeah, raised pavement, and it's just like you can't put your steps down all the way. So as you can see from the get-go of this video, not all campsites are created equal. I know this is a weird topic for most of y'all out there. You're like, it's an RV step, what gives? But trust us, this is pretty important because we ran into a lot of cons along the way ever since owning this specific camper.
And we're not saying that these steps are awful and you shouldn't get them. We just want to like prepare you if you're gonna have a rig with these fold down steps that touch the ground, like what to, I don't know, look out for.
Now, before going any deeper into this video, we are not working with anybody, so what you're hearing is just strictly Carl and Nene's opinions. Take it for what it's worth. And the reason I say is because later on this video, we're gonna be asking more of your opinions because we personally need some help with this.
Yeah, like what would you do in this situation?
Now that you have a little context of what exactly is going on, we're gonna watch it together. Yes, I forewarned you. You're with us. We're gonna evaluate
Hold on, let me get my tea from my Buc-ee's mug.
And do you have your glasses on, by the way?
I do not.
Here we go. We need to come over a foot, but even then, I wonder...
Oh, that will hit then, yeah.
Yeah, this will hit right here.
Yeah, but even if this could rest against it and lay on this part. Like
16 inches.
Let's just see, yeah. We just measured to see if we can get that far over on that side.
Get close, I mean, I'd have to get like super close to the tires and stuff.
But we also could be forward a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like you could just back up to the sewer.
Yeah, okay.
Let's just do that. Let me just add also, because I know you're just about to add something, is we look like total newbies.
Yeah, we did.
In this RV park, because I think people just, I don't know, it took us forever to unhook and they weren't sure why.
It happens, no matter how long you're doing this. You have situations where you just look like a total noob.
Yeah, I do.
So you can see right here, the campsite's super narrow. We don't have much room to pull over any further before intruding on our neighbor's campsite.
Yeah.
So we had to be really careful with this situation where we need to get that gap and that spacing so that I could clear the raised pavement, but at the same time not intrude on our neighbors, which is kind of frustrating. So
yeah, this goes back to like RV etiquette, like how much can you intrude like on that left side? And our thing is, and I don't know if this is like the real etiquette, but our thing is like your slide that comes out should not go past that electrical box.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think from the electrical box in is your site and use it how you want.
That's a good one. And there's a lot of different pros and cons that we want to talk more on, but hold on, let's get to the real nitty gritty here.
Well, will you be too close to the box? No, I guess we'll be fine.
Shouldn't be.
Okay, if you just follow that. Because you have enough room up there to park your truck, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, go back just straight. Don't turn it anymore.
Okay.
Because now you're like too far over. Like you might have to push it the other way. Yeah, push it a little bit, passenger. You're like too far.
Can I just come straight back?
Yes. Oh yeah, that jack is gonna hit too. Can I add something?
Okay. What do you got?
Little side note. To communicate back and forth, we do use our cell phones, and we did a whole video where we had issues backing up and caused like dents in the truck, and you guys commented like walkie-talkies or hand signals.
Yeah.
We've done it all. We have had walkie-talkies before, and we just didn't like the fact that there wasn't like two-way communication, because I could be keying up the walkie-talkie for too long and he could be trying to say something.
Yeah.
So we like the cell phones, but what you got to take into account with cell phones is there's a delay. So I always tell him way ahead of time to stop. Stop, 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 stop. Stop, stop, stop.
That's a good point. Because we've had that.
Yep.
We won't go into that now.
Because you have enough room up front, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
How are we looking? How many feet?
Pretty good, like 6 feet. Okay. 3 feet. 2 feet. 1 foot. Okay, right there. Let's just see.
Water.
Will the electric reach?
I don't know. It's from here to here. So, equidistance, I don't know if they give us enough to work with, so.
That's fine. I mean, you can get even closer if you want.
With this heater here, would this be okay? I don't want this heater closer here, so if anything,
Well, we're not going to use heat, I don't think. This seems like it's going to be good.
Moment of truth.
Oh, wow. You could even get closer, I guess, if you want. But
yeah,
we're good like that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I don't really care for these steps, all to be honest. Like, honestly, I mean, they're more stable, but when you run into situations like this, you don't have very many options to go with, so. All right, quit ear yapping. How does this apply to you guys? Well, if you don't own steps already, we're gonna point out some pros and cons, like mentioned before, of these steps specifically. And if you do own these steps, well, maybe you haven't run into some of the situations we're about to talk about as well.
But now you'll be prepared thanks to the Hanks.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Rocking it. Love that. Nice job today.
Ooh.
Let's start it off with some pros of the steps. I like to give the goods first because they are good steps.
Yeah, let's take steps in that right direction.
I like what you did there. Initially, our first trailer, we had the fold down steps like you would see on a normal trailer. With these actual step above steps, they're a lot more stable and they can handle a lot more weight, it seems. Very durable, would you say?
Oh yeah, in the mornings in your robe, you could just stay on that bottom step and dance and wave. Like, do I do that? Maybe.
Maybe.
But I'm just saying they're very solid.
And another part is they are a heavier step, but it is spring assisted. So when you go to lift up the steps, you can actually just like use your pinky and it will like help lift the step up there for you. So you're not breaking your back, which is really cool.
Right. I like that. And it is really nice to have steps that are sturdy so you don't feel like you're gonna die every time you walk up and down.
But getting more into the cons of the situation, because there's quite a few we want to touch on and we have a lot of experience with all of these. So these are all personal cons. You get to laugh at all of our faults and mistakes that we made along the way. The first one being is the gouging of the door itself. Not quite related to this situation, but if you are unlevel with your steps and you bring them down and they make good contact on the ground, but then you just assume it's good contact and go slam your door, it might hit and it hits hard and it can really gouge the crud out of the bottom of your door. We've done that before.
I've misjudged and I was like, they're good. And it just like, it like screeches across. It's like, phew.
It's the worst sound ever. And it could damage your door. It could put extra like pressure on your hinges of your door. It can really kind of screw some things up. So I don't like that it's completely, you have to like double, triple check to make sure the door closes before you actually shut it like a normal door.
It does make setting up take a little bit more time than those regular fold out steps.
No doubt.
Because after we're done auto leveling, which we'll get into another issue.
Yes.
After auto leveling, I have to really get down and make sure the steps are equal on both sides. Because I don't like when one side of the steps is like ever so slightly uneven and makes that slamming sound when you walk on it.
Oh yeah, because if they're not down equally touching the ground, it will kind of like, when you step on it, it will shift weight and it's like ding, ding, ding. It's super annoying, but.
Well, we had a lot of you guys reach out and say, shims, get shims.
And we did. Another thing that we've been having a lot of problems with is the actual, when the step is fully retracted into the doorway, is actually making a good contact with the screen door and the door itself. We were driving one time along the road and then all of a sudden looked in the rearview mirror and the door was flopping back there. It had opened during transport, so that really stunk.
We were like, whoa, door's open.
And we pulled over immediately. And the reason why is because we were like really slamming on the door to make sure it like got seated within the like the deadbolt there, the slam latch. and it just wasn't enough no matter what we did. We would put the handle over the door to kind of help ensure it, and that made some wear and tear on our RV lock.
Right. Well, when we were at the Myrtle Beach Grand Design Rally, one of the Lippert techs came over.
Oh, that's right.
And helped us like realign our screen door, and it seems like it's fine now.
Yeah, it seems like it's okay, but
yeah, if your door is not perfectly put on the hinges correctly and you put those steps up, it will like maybe open while driving.
Heck, you guys know how it is in the RV life. I mean, it's hard enough to get those doors to shut properly without any steps in the way. So now when you add that extra width of the steps, it's just like, ugh.
It's just something to look out for.
You're gonna laugh. This has happened so many times. We get in such a rush when we get to the campsite, we put the steps down, and then we find out that it's not good enough. Or later on, we figure out we need to re-auto level. And then you take shortcuts and you forget that the steps are still down. When those steps are down and the door is shut and you go to re-auto level and the trailer starts dropping more and putting more pressure on those steps, you're gonna jack your door up so hardcore, it's not even funny.
It's not funny.
So that's a problem. You really have to ensure that the steps are fully retracted before you do any maneuverability or any changes with the auto level, all that. You can't just, it's just one more thing to remember.
We did talk about this in our setup video, and that video goes over many things of how to like set up in order to prevent incidents like this happening.
Oh, we'll throw that one up there as well. If you go back and check that one out after you're done with this video, because we got a lot of good information in that one too.
Another issue, which is actually the opposite of this whole video,
is
that when the steps come down and they will never hit the ground, they're just like high as Timbuktu.
Oh.
Is Timbuktu a mountain, or is it a far away location?
It's pretty up there.
Basically, you extend those legs as far as you can go and they still don't touch the ground. But then you run into a situation where the Hanks are like, it's fine, we'll throw rocks under there. Putting these RVs to their full potential. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
that's great. And the door shuts. Where was that? Where did we do that? Where did we throw rocks underneath?
We were at like a city park in South Carolina.
Yes.
Yeah.
And had we not had those rocks, we would have been...
We would have eventually found rocks.
I don't know what would have happened because the steps were still that far off the ground, fully extended. So we would have had to like run and jump into the door, basically.
Well, we would have used our orange blocks, but we already like used up all of our orange blocks to like...
Yeah, the site was so unlevel already, so...
And that happened because our right side of the trailer had to come up so high to make it level. We had to actually use our Beech lane levelers and the auto level, like double whammy.
Yeah, I kind of missed that about our old trailer with the steps that just kind of folded down real fast. I mean, it didn't matter how far you are off the ground.
But in that situation, you still have to leap up to get to the steps.
That's true. So either situation, you're at an increased risk for a tripping hazard.
Yeah.
Which I want to talk about those steps later on that I heard about, but we'll get into that in a second.
There's a frequent accident that does happen to people when they RV, and a lot of it is falling down the steps.
We've seen it a lot in the ER. People have fallen, broken hips, broken legs, ankles. So yes.
Like coming out of their RV because they didn't grab the handle. Always grab the handle. I don't care if you're 18 or 105, grab the handle on the way up and down.
Here's a crummy situation. Let's say you're taking down your campsite and it's pouring rain out and you're trying to stay dry and you're just doing things quickly. When you go to raise the step above steps back into the rig, all that water is gonna run off into the inside of your camper. It's happened so much to us. So now we have to keep an extra towel there and like to accommodate for all this water going back into the RV. Not only does this apply to rain, but this is also applicable to like dirt and bugs and any other junk that you accumulate. If you don't sweep off your steps every single time you pack up your campground, all that junk's gonna go right into your trailer and it's gonna be waiting for you when you get home.
Which is why I like to clean when we get to our destination, because if I clean before, you're just putting the steps up, you're like, well, dang it.
Yeah. RV life, baby. That's all I'm talking about.
Hashtag RV life. This next one also hits home. There's been instances where we are pulled over or we just got to quick go inside the RV and we try to put the steps down and they hit something. We were at a rest stop on our way to Mount Rushmore and we had to do like a hardcore rock climbing session to get into the RV.
Even then, even if we were in that situation, we ran in situations where being at truck stops or rest areas, you're really in there tight sometimes and dropping those steps. I even heard of people that put their RVs in storage units with other RVers they say that is the most likely place that this is going to happen.
Yes.
Because when you back in, they back in so tight in those areas to make the most use of all the storage area.
And what people do to fix that situation, I've read on forums, is they'll actually like unscrew those steps completely when they go in storage. Like they'll take those steps off and then they'll just put like a regular step ladder up there.
That kind of sounds like a hassle.
It is a hassle, I guess, but if you really like the steps, then that's your option.
So obviously in all these scenarios, one size does not fit all. Everyone's gonna have different circumstances, different opinions, which is fine. And one thing we heard about that we're not paid for whatsoever, but we might look into later, is the torque lift glow steps, I believe what they are.
Yeah.
Our buddy Nick has some.
Yeah.
And they're really nice because they are like a step above, only they retract underneath your doorway.
Right.
So they pull out, you can customize them, like it's really super nice. But I heard they come with a heavy price on them as well, so.
There's no perfect step out there.
Bring a tape measure.
Don't unhook until you look.
I like that. Have you said that one before?
Maybe.
Nice.